What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time, please consider subscribing. Today, I know a little off topic, it's not truck related, but I've actually really wanted one of these Chargers since this body style came out. I actually liked the previous body style SRTs as well. I think the front end looked very aggressive. The only thing I didn't like about that body style was the rear was so blocky and the taillights kind of looked just like Lego-ish to me, you know what I mean? Just very square and kind of meh. Didn't really match the aggressive front end. And then this body style started growing on me, and I've always wanted a Scat Pack since about 2016. I don't know where I got this idea, but I think when they came out with the Demon Challenger, I was like, if they ever make a wide body Charger, I'm friggin' getting one. So as far as truck goes, I'm nearing completion on it. I'm not going anything too crazy with it. It is just a lease. I don't want to go anything crazy because it is a daily driver, and I'm running out of things to do to it that I actually want to do. I may be looking to replace it with a Charger when the lease is up on the truck, and just get something. Obviously, the Charger would be like my nice car, weekend car slash like spring through fall car. Here in Minnesota, I definitely would not drive a nice car like this in the winter. I don't want it to rust. I'd probably get something like a mid 2000s like Jeep Grand Cherokee or something, just kind of cheap, good all-wheel drive for winter. So don't hate me for that. This is just hearsay. It's not cemented yet, but I just kind of wanted to compare the Scatpack Widebody to the Hellcat. They do call it the Hellcat Widebody, but you can't get the Hellcat in a non-widebody anymore, which makes sense because it's just too much car when you don't have this package. You can still get the regular body style Scat Pack, which starts at just over 40,000. So I mean, if you're looking for the best bang for the buck as far as horsepower and doodads and everything, the Scat Pack is definitely the way to go. As you see, it's only 4,000 more than the RT, and you're picking up 100 horsepower from that, plus electronic limited slip rear end. And I personally like the front end a little bit better on the Scat Packs with the honeycomb grill and everything. I think you can get that on the RTs now as an option, but of course that's going to make the price go up. But I mean, look at, you can lease an RT is more than a Scat Pack for a lease, so it's kind of a no-brainer for the Scat Pack. The only difference is your insurance is going to be a little more on the Scat Pack. So today we're going to be talking about leasing as opposed to buying costs for these two cars, and you know what might be the best option. So I've gone ahead and I've built the two cars how I would order them. Now there's like 4 different color options right now that I really like, and I've actually been taking surveys on which one people like best. I'll actually post pictures here showing the different colors, and you guys can vote down below what you think is the best color or your favorite color. So if I were to go through with this, and assuming no other colors come out that I like and some of these don't get discontinued, my top picks as far as colors for either of these cars really would be the white knuckle, F8 green, frostbite, which is a lighter blue, indigo blue, which is darker, triple nickel silver, or octane red. Now, I do like the look of the regular Tor red and the Go Mango orange and even black, but I've got a black truck right now, so I'd probably want to switch it up. And honestly, this black truck has been the hardest to keep clean out of any vehicle I've ever owned. I will argue until I'm blue in the face that a white vehicle is easier to keep clean. I've owned 2 white vehicles, and it's just no comparison. Alright, so again, the main point of this is we're going to compare the Scat Pack to the Hellcat. What's the better deal? Which should I get? All that, and then the benefits of the leasing and buying, which I will make a separate video on, comparing leasing to buying in general, not just with Chargers, but everything. So again, back to this screen, what I want you to pay attention to is the estimated lease for the Scat Pack Widebody is approximately $475, and the Hellcat's only about $50 more a month, so it's a pretty good deal. But this is the total cost of the car. Okay, so 72 versus 46. That's, you know, $25,000 give or take difference. So that's a huge price difference. And you have to ask yourself, you know, with these two wide bodies, you're essentially getting the exact same car. You both get the 11-inch wide by 20 wheels. You get the 6-piston Brembos up front with the 4 pistons in the back. Really, the aesthetics are all the same except for the hood. The Hellcat has two additional heat extractors, one on each side of the center bulge. But I mean, other than that, and the spoiler, satin black spoiler on the Scat with body match paint spoiler on the Hellcat. I actually like the satin better on the Scatpack. I wish they would give that option on here with the Hellcat. So essentially, you're getting the exact same car with only a few aesthetic differences. And then, of course, you've got that 200 horse extra from the supercharger. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth the jump from essentially 500 horsepower to 700 horsepower? You're gaining 200 horse and 150 torque, roughly. Is that worth $25,000? And for most people, that answer is going to be no, which I think is why there's so many Scat Packs right now. It's just because they're a great value. But we're going to compare the two and see what happens here. So I've already got a Hellcat built. Just for giggles, I'm going to build it the way I'm leaning towards right now. It's currently the winner in votes. Actually, it's tied. It's a 2- or 3-way tie, but I'm just going to go with the white knuckle. The satin stuff looks cool. I'm not going to pay $1,000 for some stickers. I don't mind the stripes on these cars with certain color combos, but I would never pay $1,000 for some sticker that's going to flake off. I like the hood, and you can get this package here where the hood, the roof, and the spoiler and the trunk are all satin black. The satin and the flat black stuff scratches too easily for me, and I'm a kind of minimal maintenance guy, so I would not do that. Also, not going to pay $3,500 for it, but I will pay the $1,500 for the gloss black painted roof, because as you see, at least in my opinion, on the white car, I think it makes it look just a little sportier. It makes it look slightly lower to the ground. I'll take it off again here. Just adds a little bit of something to break up the blandness of the white. So you got the black roof, and then you got the satin black spoiler, and of course you got all the black on the front end. Wheels, I prefer the black over the Devil's Rim aluminum, but I don't exactly like these wheels so much. They're not bad, but I actually prefer like the old SRT wheels, which I'll show you when we build the Hellcat. I would rather get those aftermarket in black. So I'd save the $1,300 and just get these stock and then probably switch them out. With a white car, I'd probably go with the red brake calipers. I know $600 just for some paint is a little steep, but again, the red kind of breaks up the white blandness and again matches the 392 badging. Tires, not going to bother paying $700 for 3-season tires. I'd rather just get a set of summer tires, dedicated summer tires, when the stock ones burn out. White car again, so black interior would be kind of dreary, I think. I think I would opt with the red here, red and black, just to, again, it would complement the red brake calipers and just kind of break up the blandness of the white. I don't need nav, there's Apple CarPlay and all that. I would do the audio. I know it's a lot of money, but I just really love music and I like a good sound system. Sunroof, not going to do that. It's just something that's going to start to leak over time, and it adds like 50 to 100 pounds to the roof of your car, which is going to make more body roll. I know I'm getting technical there, but I'm just not going to use it that much. I just don't feel like it's worth it to me. But I will pay the $30 for the cargo net just because it is a pretty big trunk, and it'll be nice to have that cargo net to kind of keep things from flying around and accessible. Plus group is automatically added apparently, which has the, you can pause and read this, but it basically comes with everything that I want. Not going to do the technology group because I really don't like how fancy all this stuff is. I don't like the car driving for me. I want to drive the car that's fun to me, so I don't need adaptive cruise control or advanced brake assist. I don't need auto high beam control. I'm perfectly capable of flicking a switch, and I'm paying attention to the road, so I don't need forward collision or lane departure. And rain sensitive wipers, those are nice, but I don't feel it's worth $1,900 just for that one option. Travel and navigation, not going to do that. I don't need traffic and all this and navigation. Again, it would have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I'm not going to pay the $500 just for some tacky looking stuff here. This doesn't look too bad, but not worth it to me. Same with the carbon suede package. Yes, a suede headliner would be kind of cool, but I mean, how often are you looking up at your headliner and touching it anyways? and the carbon fiber again looks cool, but I just can't justify $1,600 when I don't mind the look of the other dash or just a normal roof liner anyways. So I can see why some people would want that. It's just not for me. And then we have the driver group, which if you read all of this, everything here is included in this. The only difference is this one comes with the bi-functioning HID projector headlamps, which I do want. I do want HIDs over the standard halogens, but even with the standard halogens, you still get the projector housing. So you could always just put some HID bulbs in there or LEDs or whatever you want for much cheaper aftermarket, like $200, something like that. As where this package is $1,300, and like I said, I think everything but the HIDs from here is up in here. So $1,300 just for HID headlights, again, not worth it to me. I'd rather keep the cost down. Engine block heater, not going to need that because I'm not going to drive it in the winter. So then we get down here. So the total cost to build this car the way I built it is $49,055. If you were to buy this vehicle for 72 months, and that's assuming here that you put down 10%, which is $53.90, and assuming you get a 2.9 interest rate, and you do 72 months, that'll bring you right there at $735 a month. Now, on the other hand, you can lease it for $532 a month. That's a 36-month lease. Again, I think that's 10% down. Yep, $53.90. But as you'll notice, lower interest rate, and so you can get the same car for $200 a month cheaper if you lease it. Now, granted, this would be a low mileage lease, most likely, kind of like they do with the Camaros. So it's probably 10,000 miles a year on that. But again, I would only be driving it from spring to fall. So 10,000, I think, would be plenty for me. And also, when you do a lease, so here's the thing that people kind of don't understand. They're like, oh, I own my vehicle. I don't know why you're leasing it. Well, technically, if you're getting a loan for your vehicle, you don't own it either. The bank does. The only difference is you're getting a loan for, say, probably 5 to 6 to 7 years, is where the lease is only typically a 2 to 3 to 4 year loan. They're both loans, even though one's a lease and one's a purchase. It's the exact same thing. The only, stipulations with the lease is you can't overly modify anything. If you're not going to buy it out at the end, you're limited on your mileage. But if you're going to buy it out at the end, it doesn't really matter anyways. So I kind of typically recommend a lease to buy. If you know you're going to buy it or you think you're going to buy it, do a lease to buy, because when you do the lease, you're only paying the interest and the tax and everything on that lease. So I've done the math, and if you do the 532 for 36 months, you're paying $19,152 over that 3 years for that car. So, that's not too bad. You're out 20 grand basically if you turn it back in at the end of the lease. But if you decide to buy it, now you're that far ahead. And typically the buyout, they tell you when you lease it what the buyout price is going to be at the end of your lease. And typically that number is lower by quite a bit than what you're going to be able to find a 3-year-old used Scatpack for on the dealership lot. So you can save quite a bit of money doing this. All right, so finally we're going to move on to the Hellcat. No timeout. All right, so we're going to spec it out similarly just to keep it fair. Again, I did the white knuckle with the black gloss black roof. These are the wheels I was talking about, the SRT ones. They're kind of more like, well, if it would ever load. There we go. So I kind of call it like a snowflake or like Ninja Star wheel. I don't know exactly what they're called, but I've always liked this style of wheel. But as you see here, they're Warp Speed Granite. I want them in black. So I'd have to go aftermarket either way. The Hellcat already comes with red calipers, so I would not get, gray or black or orange if I'm getting white. Any other color besides white, I probably would get black calipers. Again, not going to mess with the 3-season tires. When it comes to the interior here, I think I'd go with the red leather, which for some reason it's not loading. I'm not going to do black demonic red seats. I'd have to look into that. Let's just say the red leather. Again, not going to do the navigation. It automatically comes, or no, I added this. I added that earlier. No sunroof, cargo net, no red seat belts if I get red interior. If I got black interior, I would do the red seat belts. Again, just to kind of break up the white. Power convenience group is free. Again, not going to do the nav and travel. Not going to pay $1,000 for an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel and to downgrade to the Alcantara seats when I already have full leather, so not going to spend money there. And again, not going to do the carbon suede interior. You get the $2,100 gas guzzler tax and no block heater again. So we get down to the end. If you were to buy this car, it's $1,300 a month. You can lease it for $568. So if you compare the two, you can lease a Hellcat for $570 basically, and a Scat for $530. So it's only like a $40 difference between a Hellcat and a Scatpack, which is pretty good. So you're probably thinking, okay, so why wouldn't you get the Hellcats for only $40 a month more? Well, here's the thing. I'm 30 years old. I have State Farm for insurance. I only have one vehicle, so I don't get multi-vehicle discount right now. My truck is 170 a month or 160, somewhere in there, which is kind of high if you ask me. I called on a Scatpack Widebody and on a Hellcat Widebody, and the Scatpack was 200 a month. The Hellcat was 250 a month. So over the course of a year, the Hellcat is going to be $600 more in insurance. You're also going to be going through tires and brakes a lot faster in the Hellcat, and you're going to be paying probably a good $600 minimum for 2 new tires each time you burn through them. The front brakes are very expensive. It's like over $1,000 to do pads and rotors, even if you do it yourself and buy your own parts. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, that 200 horsepower added from the supercharger really sucks down the fuel. I think I was watching another video where they were reviewing it, and they said at full throttle, the Hellcat can drain its fuel tank in like 11 minutes. So you're going to go through probably double the fuel in a Hellcat. Close to it, I would guess. So if you're paying $3,000, $2 to $3,000 a year for a Scatpack for fuel, you're gonna be paying, $6,000 maybe for fuel in a Hellcat. So these are all things you have to factor in, and that all adds up on top of this monthly payment. Let's just say you can cope with all that, and you're like, okay, it's still worth it to get the Hellcat. This is where I said to pay attention at the beginning, where the $25,000 difference comes in, because the lease payment's only $40 a month difference. So where's this extra 25 grand? How come we're not seeing it? Well, if you're if you're not buying it, if you're going to lease it, you're going to kind of pay for it on the back end. So the Scatpack, let's look at this one first. Total price $49.55. You're saving $200 a month if you lease it. So if you do it for $532 a month at the 36 months, I pre-calculated it here unless some other options changed, but it'll be close. What we did is at the end of the 3-year lease, you will have paid $19,152 for that car. So if you take the total cost, $49,055, and you subtract the $19,152 that you paid during the lease, that means your buyout would be $29,903. Now, if you do 3% interest at 5 years, your payment's going to be $537, which is pretty on par with what you were paying with the lease. So it's a nice transition. The only difference is, you finance it. What's 72? That's 6 years. So that's another difference between the buying and leasing is, you'd be paying $735 for 6 years to buy the car, as opposed to if you're leasing it, you're going to pay $530 a month, so $200 less a month for 3 years. But then if you want to buy it out at the end, you're going to get a loan for probably like 5 years. So that would bring your total payments to 8 years with the lease. So you're going to be paying a little bit more in interest there, just because as opposed to the 6 years, you're going to be paying interest for 2 more years than if you were buying it. But I think it kind of will equal out because the purchasing was 3% interest and the lease was 1.5%. So I think the 1.5% might kind of even out over that additional 2-year span. So I really don't think there's going to be a huge penalty there. And what you get out of this is consistent payments. So your payments are within $5 the whole 8 years. Now, granted, this car is going to be out of warranty. Bumper to bumper is 3-year, 36,000, and the powertrain is 5-year, 60K. So, you're going to be paying on a car for 3 years after it's out of warranty as far as the engine, and 5 years for the body, the bumper to bumper. But that's just kind of a choice that you'd have to make in this scenario. So back to the hidden costs here. The Hellcat will do the same thing. Net price $71,635. It would be $1,300 a month if you buy it. At $568 a month for 36 months, we'll have paid $20,016 compared to the Scatpack at $19. So again, you're only paying like $850 more over the whole lease for the Hellcat, which is pretty dang good. But here's where they get you. So remember the Scatpack at the end of the lease, this is how much it would cost, 3% at 5 years, $537. Now, the Hellcat, it is the $71,635. We got to subtract the $20,016 from that, and that brings the purchase price at the end of the lease to $50,029. At that same 3% interest and 5-year loan, your payments skyrocket to $900 a month, as opposed to $537 in the Scatpack. So moral with this is you can get the Hellcat for only $40 a month more than the Scat as far as payment, but then you're paying that $600 a month more, or $600 a year more in insurance. You're going to pay close to double in fuel, probably more in brakes and tires, maintenance stuff, and so that all has to factor in there. And then at the end of that, again, you're pushing the car, if you buy it out at the end of the lease, you're pushing that out to 8 years where it's not under warranty for a good portion of that, and you're paying $900 a month when you used to only be paying $570. So that's kind of a kick to the nuts there, and that's kind of the deal breaker for me. So I think if I was to go the Hellcat route, I would lease it and then just go into it probably realizing that I'm going to let it go at the end of the lease and kind of just walk away from that money, because my lease on the truck isn't up until January of 2022. So if I get a Hellcat, I think they're going to probably redo the Charger here in 2022, 2023, something like that, very soon. So I would go into it willing to accept that I'm going to walk away from the Hellcat at the end, because the payments would skyrocket, $300 a month essentially, $350 almost. And I wouldn't want that high of a payment probably, unless YouTube is paying me big at that point. And they'll probably have the new body styles out by then, so maybe I'll want a new one. So I don't want to. I won't be crying if I got to let the Hellcat go. But the Scatpack, I guess you could do it either way with that too. I'd probably be more likely to buy that one out at the end, just because the payments would stay the same, pretty consistent. But again, if they come out with a new body style and different powertrains or whatever, and I want to make the jump to that at the end of this lease, then I have that option too. So I guess if I did a 3-year lease in 2022 and the one is up on my truck, that would put us at 2025. So I think they'll definitely have a new body style out with different engines at that point. So what do you guys think about the whole Hellcat versus Scatpack? Did I make some good points here? Is there anything to add? Let me know in the comments which one you would get. There's a lot of people that have driven both cars, and they say that the Scatpack is just the better car because it's so much cheaper and it has more usable power. You can really throw it into the corners, is where the Hellcat, you got to be careful because it has so much power. Everyone says that the Scat is the best all around, just because it's not too scary. And it's not even just that, but again, just the usableness. You can't even really launch, even with these fatter tires, launching a Hellcat is just kind of a joke. They're both insane cars. I would love either of them. So let me know what you would pick and why down below. I hope this was kind of informative and opened your eyes a bit to leasing versus buying. If you enjoyed the video, if it helped you out, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and check me out on Facebook at Tony the Truck Guy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.